I'm being creative.
It's garbage.
Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnik Vogon Jeffs, and in this video I'm going to be talking about The Crow.
Is that gasoline I smell?
No, not the good one. I did a review for that movie a while back. You can check the link in the description. No, in this video we're talking about the 2024 reboot of The Crow. It's a film directed by Rupert Sanders. Wait a minute, Rupert Sanders? Who the hell is Rupert Sanders? Oh, he directed Snow White and the Huntsman and the 2017 adaptation of Ghost in the Shell? Alright, that explains it. That really puts things into perspective. How does this guy keep getting work? I mean, he's made 3 movies and they're all garbage. Listen, if you want someone to put out nothing but box office bombs, just hire me. I'm available. I've obviously got plenty of time on my hands.
Yes. Hey.
I f***ing hate this f***ing movie.
I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this one, but let's do it anyway. The Crow stars Bill Skarsgård as Eric, FKA Twigs as Eric's girlfriend, Shelley, Danny Houston as Vincent Rogue, Laura Byrne as Marion, and Sam Buahila? Is that right? Buahila? Or is the J silent? Buahila? Buahila? Whatever. This isn't a remake of the original, but rather a reboot or reimagining derived from the source material, the James O'Barr comic books. So, I'm going to do my best to not compare it to the 1994 Alex Proyas Brandon Lee masterpiece, which won't be hard because there's really no comparison. If you haven't seen either, go watch Brandon Lee in his last on-screen performance and pretend this one doesn't exist. This movie is terrible, and I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. Alright, Okay, so there's this kid who comes home to find a white horse tangled up in barbed wire, and he struggles to get it free, but he can't because he's just a kid and the horse dies. Turns out this is a dream. Shocker! Eric, a drug addict, has dreams about his childhood and soliloquies about losing someone you love.
When someone you love dies, you will know emptiness. You will know what it is to be completely and utterly alone. You will never forget, and you will never, ever forgive.
And I'm sure he also grew up listening to My Chemical Romance. Alright, forget about Eric. It's time to drop in on Shelley, another addict. She gets a call from her friend Zadie, who thinks she's being followed. And she is. Apparently, she's in possession of some incriminating video, and the bad guys don't want her sharing it. Pretty straightforward stuff here. But she's already shared the video by sending it to Shelley, who then freaks out and calls their mutual friend Dom. He's the guy who shot the video. Shelley locks her phone in a safe and goes to find Zadie. On her way, she realizes she's being followed, so she bumps into a couple of cops and drops a purse full of pills and powder. Off to rehab she goes. Meanwhile, Zadie is interrogated by immortal windbag Vincent Rogue. He's a lover of music and a crime lord of some type, who also happens to have made a deal with the devil to prolong his life by sending innocent souls to hell.
That's the deal I made. You go to hell, so I don't have to.
Kind of like how the filmmakers responsible for this crap condemned the audience to nearly 2 hours of cinematic anguish. Rogue has the ability to make people do what he wants by whispering sweet nothings in their ear. So long, Zadie, and back to rehab. Eric and Shelley meet and flirt, and I know the intention was to be sweet and earnest here, but it's just awkward and cringe, and all I could think the whole time was, why am I watching a movie about these 2 losers?
What kind of tea is hard to drink?
I don't know.
Reality.
Wow, that's something.
I'll keep working on it.
What a couple of losers. Losers. Anyway, the 2 losers flirt and bond over tattoos until Rogue's goons show up looking for Shelley. Eric helps her by taking her down to the laundry room where they remove their ankle monitors and escape out of an unsecured window. The facility is surrounded by barbed wire fencing, but sure, they were able to just climb out of the window, no problem. Okay, let's not nitpick too much or we'll never get through this slop. The star-crossed losers, lovers, make their way to an apartment Shelley occasionally lives in. It belongs to a friend of hers, but
He lives in Antigua. Lets me crash here sometimes.
whatever, doesn't matter. Eric and Shelley drink a bunch and partake in an unhealthy amount of illicit substances and get freaky all over the place. They hang out on the roof and speak in new age palindrome sentences that mean absolutely nothing.
Promise me something.
What?
If I'm ever hard to love, try to love me harder.
In other words, they're in love. But oh no, Zadie's body is found in a river and Rogue puts pressure on his right-hand woman, Marion, to find Shelley and Dom and put an end to them. Back to some more Eric and Shelley time. Swimming with friends. Boring. And back to another apartment. I think this is Eric's place. The two music lovers lay down some tracks and holy shit, this is terrible.
The sun's out there shining.
Isn't FKA Twigs a singer or something? I mean, oh my god, this is brutal. Shelley tries playing some piano, but it brings back some bad memories, so the two lovebirds go for a walk on a bridge. Shelley has a past she isn't proud of. She's hurt people, but she won't tell Eric what she did because she's worried he would leave her.
And if you left me, I'd die.
If I left you, I'd already be dead.
Time to dance. It's an early 2000s rave party. Everybody dance. Oh, come on, Dom. Shelley's friend Dom shows up and ruins everything by warning her about Zadie's death and Rogue's intentions. Eric and Shelley leave the rave and head back to his apartment where they are immediately taken out by Rogue's henchmen. Eric wakes up in limbo, or some kind of purgatory between heaven and hell. He meets Kronos, a mysterious Tunisian dude who says the thing.
People once believed when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that the terrible sadness is carried with it. And the soul cannot rest.
Ah, he said the thing. Eric can't believe he's dead. He thinks it's just a bad dream. So Kronos sends him back to the land of the living to exact some undefined vengeance. You know, as a spirit guide, Kronos is pretty shit at his job. Ah well. Eric is alive again, and while reminiscing about unfinished tattoos he got while making out with Shelley, a corrupt cop shows up at his apartment and shoots him. A fight ensues and Eric finally gets the upper hand. But he's not completely unscathed. His insides are literally popping out. I can't show any of that stuff here, obviously, but he puts himself back together, so to speak, you know, regenerative powers and whatnot, and follows the crow back to the bridge from earlier. Eric hallucinates Shelley jumping and he follows her back to purgatory. Kronos makes a deal with Eric. Take out the people responsible for his and Shelley's death.
Kill them. Kill them all.
And save Shelley from hell. Eric returns to the land of the living once more and gets a gun from his tattoo artist friend. He visits Shelley's mom and finds an ID card that connects Shelley to Rogue. He then finds one of Rogue's henchmen sitting in a car outside of a Rogue building. A Rogue building. Not a Rogue building. A Rogue building. He shoots the henchman and finds out that Marion and some other goons are heading out to find Dom. But what's this? There she is. She's right there. How about that? Eric jumps out to confront Marion and winds up fighting all of them inside of their vehicle. Unfortunately, Eric is kicked out of the SUV and run over by a truck. He puts himself back together again while Rogue visits Shelley's mother. He wants to know about the man who visited her, but Shelley's mother is distraught over trading her daughter to Rogue for a better life.
I would rather have died.
Well, then you should go be with her.
So Rogue talks her into offing herself. After a quick conversation with Dom, Eric heads back to Shelley's place and finds her phone and the incriminating video. Eric watches the video and discovers that Shelley stabbed some girl in the neck. Somehow, after everything he's been through, this is too much to handle and he drops the phone in disgust. He heads over to his tattoo artist friend's place and he's all conflicted about whether or not he still loves Shelley.
Shelley, she did something really bad.
I mean, he's already stabbed a cop and shot a henchman in the back, but I guess Shelley's actions, influenced by an immortal demon man, are really beyond the pale. And it seems as if Rogue's goons were tracking the phone because they show up at the tattoo guy's place like right away. A fight breaks out and Eric is shot into a bathtub full of water. Was the tattoo guy about to take a bath before Eric showed up? I would not have assumed he was a bath guy. Definitely figured him for a shower, bro. Doesn't matter. I'm getting sidetracked. Eric winds up back in purgatory. Again, where Kronos explains that Eric's powers stopped working because his love for Shelley was no longer pure. It's over. But Eric can't let go. He makes a deal.
Mine for hers.
His soul for Shelley's. And in just over an hour, this stupid movie finally delivers the protagonist that the 1994 film gave us in its first 10 minutes. Eric finishes his tattoo and dons the iconic crow makeup before heading off to the opera to eliminate every single one of Rogue's henchmen. It's bloody and graphic, and I might have enjoyed it if the hour and 15-minute lead up to it wasn't excruciatingly boring. But it was, so I didn't. Before having her head separated from her body, Marion divulges Rogue's location. He's hanging out at his house. How on earth would Eric have ever found him without Marion's help? Oh my god. Eric confronts Rogue and they engage in the dullest conversation ever.
Who are you?
Just an old man.
You corrupt people.
You can't corrupt what's not already there.
Until Rogue tries to use his power to do something to Eric. I don't know what the hell is happening here. We just get some memory montage and then Eric snaps out of it and takes Rogue into purgatory. Eric beats the ever-loving shit out of him and sends him to hell, which means Shelley is saved from eternal damnation. She and Eric say goodbye to each other and then she is revived into the land of the living through the magic of time travel? What the hell? So wait, are you telling me that when Eric and Shelley died, a paramedic team arrived shortly after and revived her? Doesn't that nullify everything that's happened with her mother? Or does Eric still come back from the dead in this timeline? What is going on here? This doesn't make any f***ing sense. God damn it, I hate this movie. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it! It's so incomprehensibly stupid. Oh my god. The end. I want to get through some basic stuff right off the bat so we can revisit that nonsensical ending. From a technical standpoint, there's some passable work going on here. The cinematography isn't awful, the visual effects are okay, and the soundtrack has a handful of awesome songs. But there's nothing special about any of it, nothing that really stands out. On top of that, the acting is horrible.
What do you mean?
The script is jam-packed with laughably bad dialogue.
Everyone thought she was dead.
Everyone was right.
And the story is skin deep with some of the worst pacing I've seen in a long time. It's also painfully derivative.
What are you talking about?
I'm not even comparing it to the original Crow film here. I'm just talking about the vast ocean of other revenge flicks.
What are you talking about?
There's nothing new going on here, and it feels like it was released about 20 years too late.
Maybe.
Maybe the people who put this together were banking on some goth or emo resurgence in popular culture? Whoops, missed the mark on that one. And the world building misses the mark too. There was some early potential with the rehab facility. There was a nice contrast between the pink tones of the recovering addicts and the dark, depressing outside world, but it all kind of ends with quote-unquote potential. It was the inkling of an idea that was never properly implemented in the film. I get what they were going for, playing with contrasting tones and motifs, but it all feels lazy and misguided. Just like the characters. I don't know whose idea it was to go down the junkie path, but fire that person right now. Never ever hire them again. Eric and Shelley are both completely unlikable characters with no redeeming qualities. Oh, Eric is an artist and Shelley is a musician? Great. Maybe focus on those things a bit instead of how they both just do drugs all the time. And I'm not trying to chastise people with addictions. I actually think that could have been a strong plot line within the movie. Eric and Shelley trying to cope with their demons. But nope, none of that. We're literally just watching two junkies with no self-awareness or remorse or anything resembling inner conflict. And we're expected to connect with them on some emotional level? Sorry, no. Oh, and Eric's a terrible artist and Shelley can't sing. Nail, meat, coffin. But honestly, I'm not even bothered by all of this. Well, I am, but I can be pretty forgiving. Actually, no, I can't. Listen, you know what I'm trying to say. I can let a lot of crap slide if you at least provide a couple strong elements for me to lean on, like a solid plot, which this movie does not have. First of all, let's address the bait and switch. I watched this movie because I liked the 1994 version of The Crow, and I was excited for a new version. Well, okay, not excited. Anxious might be a better word. I wanted it to be good. And then they went and made us wait an hour and 15 minutes before Eric shows up as the Crow proper. An hour 15 before he dons the makeup. I want to know how many people out there watched the Brandon Lee original and thought, I like this, but I really wish there was an extra hour at the beginning that explored the relationship between Shelley and Eric. Ugh. I would have taken 20 to 30 minutes. Sure, that's reasonable. If the actors had chemistry, which they don't. And what a waste of an antagonist. You had an immortal demon man with the ability to make people do whatever he wants with a whisper. And what did you do with him?
What was that?
What did you do with this character?
You're not gonna like the answer.
Just tell me.
Nothing. You did nothing with this character and defeated him by having Eric beat him into a puddle of demons. What? What? And not only do we not get catharsis in this movie, we actually get the opposite. We get mind-f***ed with the dumbest ending of the year.
And it taught you something, didn't it?
I want to slow things down for just a second to make sure I'm not missing something. Let's retrace our steps. Eric and Shelley are suffocated by Rogue's henchmen, right? Okay, they're both dead. Check. Now, Shelley is slowly on her way to hell because she's been corrupted by Rogue, and Eric is sent to Purgatory to meet with Kronos and get his marching orders. He comes back to life and Shelley is gone. Eric notices some syringes and some blue gloves, but Shelley is nowhere to be found. And I know what you're thinking. Those blue gloves. They're the same blue gloves that Kronos the paramedic is wearing at the end of the movie. And Kronos, as a character from Greek mythology, is often interpreted as the personification of time. So is there some time loop nonsense afoot? Does this all connect to the end of the movie? No! That might have been what they were going for, but it doesn't make any sense. That would imply that Shelley is alive during the Act 2 and 3 events of the story, but she isn't. Her mother attends her funeral and makes several references to her daughter's death. Unless Shelley is hiding away somewhere, maybe Kronos sent her somewhere so that... No, that's stupid. But wait a minute. When Eric comes back from the dead the first time, he goes to that bridge and he sees Shelley jump off. Maybe that wasn't a hallucination. Maybe that was Shelley after she was resurrected and she was so distraught that she pulled a Romeo and Juliet and offed herself instead of dealing with the loss of her love. And hold on a second. This is actually kind of clever. Oh my God, this movie is making me lose my mind. There are elements of a good film here.
That's all you're going to say?
But the problem is that they are wrapped in a blanket of dull idiocy. Man alive, if potential was a tangible commodity, Hollywood would be in great shape. Alas, it's not. And no matter how much potential these movies have, it doesn't mean anything when the final product is garbage. And unfortunately, The Crow is garbage. It's boring and poorly acted and poorly written and all of the things. Poorly. I wish it wasn't, I really do. I wanted to like it. It kind of reminds me of this quote. I can't remember who said it, but it goes something like this. When something you love dies, you will know emptiness. You will know what it is to be completely and utterly disappointed. You will never forget, and you will never, ever forgive. Because The Crow is a truly terrible movie.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.